Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. We just hit 29,000 subscribers. Can we get to 30K? Please like this video down below and subscribe to help me get there. And today we have a lot of ground to cover. A lot of elections happened yesterday. It was Super Tuesday. We'll get to the presidential stuff. There's a lot of ground to cover here, definitely for sure. But the Alabama Senate race is very important to look at as well, and there's some congressional races I can cover really quickly. Tommy Tuberville and Jeff Sessions are going to the final runoff. It looks like Trump is going to endorse Tuberville, which it's kind of a mixed bag. Jeff Sessions is definitely the better candidate on immigration. Tuberville is probably the better candidate in terms of loyalty to Trump, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that Sessions is probably the best candidate. He'll win fairly easily. So I'd probably am going to recommend voting for Jeff Sessions. Maybe, it really depends. Either way, the candidate will come away and easily take care of Doug Jones. For the Texas Senate primary on the Democrat side, it's looking like it's going to come down to MJ Hagar versus Royce West. MJ Hagar probably will run in the nomination, and she will probably lose to John Cornyn. That's really it. Cal Cunningham winning North Carolina's Senate election fairly easily. However, in one state, I did want to kind of look at this fairly well, because this is a big joke, and we make fun of Cenk a lot and the Young Turks a lot here. And he definitely had a big meltdown yesterday, but was even more funny is the fact that he comes in 4th place in his Senate primary, just getting 5,000 votes. So absolutely hilarious for Chunk Yogurt. He loses. He has a meltdown about Bernie Sanders, which we'll get to in just a second. But it's very funny to watch all of this unfold. The guy comes up and he acts like his policies are so popular and so well loved, and it turns out that it really doesn't happen. In fact, Joe Biden ruled the day with an iron fist, for better or worse, by the way. So in the grand scheme of things right now, in terms of delegate count, Joe Biden is up by a slightly narrower margin over Bernie Sanders than one would have expected while watching the big Biden beatdown last night of Bernie. Mainly because Bernie gets a lot of delegates from California. He gets a lot of delegates from Texas, where he almost won, as well as a few other states, and he was leading beforehand. But mainly the big thing and the big takeaway is that Joe Biden is the front runner right now. It is very, very slim moving forward for a chance for Bernie to win, because you basically have Warren on the verge of dropping out, Bloomberg dropping out, everyone else is gone. Potentially Warren could siphon votes away from him in the next couple of weeks if she chooses to remain being in the race. Same thing with Tulsi Gabbard to a much, much lesser extent, and that is going to ruin Bernie Sanders at the end of the day. But in the meantime, for the short period of time that we have ahead of us in terms of March, you have a lot of primaries left. You have Arizona, you have a couple of Midwestern states, you have Florida. So you have some couple of big states here, and a lot of these states I would have said Bernie could have won them maybe a week or two ago, but tides are changing. It really looks like Joe Biden is going to be the front runner. He's going to get all of Michael Bloomberg's support. He very well is shooting up to 50%, which is sad because he's senile and he can't even remember his wife's name. He confuses his wife for his sister. He called Super Tuesday Super Thursday. He said the Declaration of Independence is, we hold these truths to be self-evident because all men and women are, you know the thing. He said a lot of different things. He basically called Pete Buttigieg Eric Swalwell. He thought Pete Buttigieg, I think, was the one that said the pass the torch thing at the debate. That wasn't Buttigieg, that was Swalwell. So apparently Biden is very, very senile, and that's going to harm him in the long run. I don't think he's going to be able to win the general election. The polls a few months ago between Trump and Biden showed Biden up by 13. Now they show Biden up by 5 in the popular vote. Technically, using the bias and taking the bias out of things, I would assume that the polling average would be Biden plus 3. And when you take trends into account, that means Donald Trump is winning the election, possibly with even more electoral votes than he did last time. So very, very interesting stuff. And by the way, you have the results here from yesterday. I did not expect this. My prediction was way off. I agree that my prediction really underestimated recent polls and recent polling trends, and honestly, I really did. Minnesota went for Joe Biden. This was a big shocker. It did not just go to him, it went for him by 10 points, and you have a lot of Bernie bros there saying, I'm not voting for Biden. I think 38% or something in the exit poll said this, so Trump is a very, very good shot at Minnesota. Also, you have other states. Oklahoma, a big Bernie state before. By the way, Oklahoma's exit poll showed like 60% of Democrats opposed Medicare for all, so all the lunatics saying, oh, majority of Republicans, 70% of Republicans support these programs. You can't even get 40% of Democrats in some areas. You're not going to be able to pass these policies. Single-payer healthcare is not very popular in America. It's just not. That's not our spirit. That's not how we do things. We got to use the market to reform it, but that's a discussion for another time. But obviously, Bernie got only 50% in his home state, a state he got almost 90% in a short while ago. He's down to 50. Biden got delegates in his state. Also, funny enough, Warren came in third. Biden won Massachusetts. Unexpected. Biden actually wins Maine. It's looking like he won Maine. Some outlets have not called Maine yet. There's still some votes out, but it's looking like Biden is going to win the state of Maine, which is absolutely hilarious. I can't even tell you how much it's hilarious that Biden's just destroying Bernie in all of these northeastern states. Even Vermont was very close. He barely got a majority of votes in Vermont. Virginia, Biden won by bigger than expected. Same thing in North Carolina, Tennessee. Bloomberg, I think, actually got delegates there. Bloomberg spent all this money to not get delegates in Virginia. I think North Carolina, he didn't get any either. I think Tennessee, Arkansas, and I think Colorado, maybe Utah. He didn't get any delegates in California or the state of Texas. So Super Tuesday really didn't work out for him, so the guy has to go. He has to drop out. He has to go back to his many mansions and stuff like that. Oh, hard life for him. But that's beside the point. Virginia, North Carolina, we talked about that turnout there, and as well as Tennessee. Alabama, definitely a big Biden state. Biden, we'll get to the exit polls in a second when I'm done here, but the blacks came out for Biden. Black people saved the day from socialism. So the state of Arkansas going for Biden heavily. Oklahoma, which again was a shocker. Texas was another one where Bernie was able to improve with Hispanics from last time around. He was able to make it close, but Biden still wins Texas, Minnesota, Colorado, Utah, and Cali. So Bernie won 4 states. Last time around, Bernie took Maine, he took Oklahoma, and he took the state of Minnesota. That didn't happen this time. He did pick up California, but he didn't really do that well, and Bloomberg and Warren put a lot of energy into there. If Pete and Amy would have dropped out beforehand, it's very possible that Joe Biden would have actually lost or actually won the state of California. Bernie did well in Utah, nowhere near his 2016 total, and in the state of Colorado, Bernie did not get his 2016 total. He's not doing very well in these states. Biden is cracking 50 in a lot of states. Could we still go to a contested convention? It's very unlikely. It's looking like that Biden might not get a majority of the delegates, but if so, superdelegates will put him over the top almost certainly, and trust me, Bernie bros are very upset. They are extremely upset. But we also have to talk about the Republican primary, but first I'd like to talk about the exit polls based on race very briefly. The new immigrant types of voters, Hispanic voters and Asian voters, those voters are coming out significantly for Bernie Sanders. This is very surprising compared to 4 years ago. Yes, Bernie had the Asian vote down. The Hispanic vote went to Hillary in most states beside Utah, but even in Texas, where Bernie dumped a lot of Vermont's nuclear waste in, he still wins the Hispanic vote. He got a lot more of the Hispanic vote, and it's definitely split between the moderates as well. That's also an issue. Bloomberg did a little bit better with Hispanics than he did with whites and stuff like that, but still, it's crazy. Bernie improved significantly with Hispanic voters compared to 4 years ago, but black voters coming out for Biden, ruining the white Bernie bro revolution is absolutely hilarious to watch, but white voters, again, very split between Biden and Sanders. The younger voters came out for Bernie. The boomers probably came out for Biden and such. So it's very interesting. But Celtic Joe has defeated Bolshevik Bernie so far, and it's looking like this trend will continue. Florida, Michigan, Ohio, those are going to be Biden states this time around. More likely than not, definitely. They could have gone to Bernie easily about a couple weeks ago, but the tides are turning, times are changing. In terms of the Republican primary, because I'd like to get to this, Trump won big. He won big because he was turning out voters. That's why he won. Does it mean a whole lot? Is it everything? No, it's not necessarily everything, but it does matter to a certain degree because he actually has turned out more voters than what Obama turned out in his entire 2012 primary. Trump turned out 6.3 million. We've only done like a third of the states, and he's turned out a lot of voters. So this really does matter. He's enthusing his base as of recent. His approval ratings going up, and it's definitely keeping things competitive, even so to the point where you have certain primaries actually have competitive results. I think Alabama, you had 450 votes cast for the Democrats, 700,000 votes cast for the Republicans. You had a very similar theme happen all across the board. Arkansas has a lot of legacy Dems, so I'm not sure that was the case there, but it was definitely close. But that's another state the Republicans, Trump actually beat all the Democrats in Arkansas, and you saw this consistently. Definitely California was obviously not going to be his day, but he still turned out over 1.5 million voters in California. That's more than what Obama turned out there in 2012. And on the Democrat side, definitely 3 million. Obviously, Republicans turning out half of that isn't entirely a bad thing. I think Trump definitely has a little enthusiastic base in California where he will improve 3 to 4 percentage points. In the state of Colorado, Trump turned out 600,000 votes, over 600,000 votes. Democrats turn out just 860,000 votes. So Trump is almost getting the Dems turnout in some of these leaning blue swing states and things like that. Massachusetts, Trump got 200,000 votes. Obama got, I believe, like 60,000 or so. I could be wrong. It was somewhere around that back in 2012. So Trump is destroying the turnout record. Obama's record turnout in 2012 for a primary state was North Carolina. I think the Republicans actually beat the Dems. If not, Trump actually beat Obama in terms of turnout in North Carolina. But look at the margins in Massachusetts. Bill Weld was a very popular governor in Massachusetts. He got 9%. He got roughly the same thing he got in New Hampshire. You see this across the board completely. You see this in, not Oklahoma, he got 92 in Oklahoma, 98 in Tennessee, 98 in Texas. The Texas Republicans, look how many people turned out in Texas. 2 million people turned out for the Republicans. How many people turned out in Texas for the Democrats is the question. You had just 2.2 million. So obviously not a whole lot of Republicans are going to come out and vote for Trump in the primary, but apparently people are saying Texas is a swing state. The empirical data among enthusiasm just isn't there. Trump is going to win Texas, probably by 7 points at a minimum. I don't care what these early polls say. Utah is also pretty good. He got 89. He did better in Utah than what he did in the state of New Hampshire in terms of percentage-wise, and that's big because Mormons were not very enthusiastic on Trump. The tide has turned despite Weld basically having the Romney support. He only got less than 7% of the vote. So it's good, looking great for him in Utah. Same thing with Vermont, very leftist state. Obviously, Obama was like barely winning states like West Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas in the 2012 primary to prisoners. But Trump goes up against a former Northeastern governor and just torches him. Shows how epic Trump is. So at the end of the day, Donald Trump is winning. He did very well. The Democrats are still divided. Biden did much better than expected. It's looking like Biden is going to pick up this momentum. Obviously, Bloomberg dropping out is going to help him moving forward. He's going to go out there. He's going to win the Midwest. And now the betting odds data basically show him winning every state. The only state that Bernie is slated to win, actually 2 states Bernie slated to win so far, is Idaho, barely, and Washington State. Those are the only 2 states he's supposed to win, and the state of Hawaii is a tie. So you have a lot of bitter Bernie bros. They're very angry. They see this as taking it away from Bernie. They see it as a Democrat establishment plot to hand it to Biden, which you have to feel bad for them to an extent, but at the same time, it's hilarious to watch the ideology fail miserably in the grand scheme of things. So will Bernie bros stay home in 2020? The exit polls in some states sure are showing that. So we'll see moving forward. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, join the Discord, join the subreddit, join the Patreon, links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.